second part to the conflict resolution. We have a different group of content creators today, but we're still bringing some resolution to this situation. The way we're going to do it is we're going to bring them up one at a time, and then we're going to get into the show. So I'm so glad that you all are here, and I thank you so much for being here. No sound. What about now, y'all? Dr. Steele, I see that. Am I good now? There you go. Thank you so much. Let me say that all again. Thank y'all so much for being here. It's an outstanding Saturday. Thank you. We are here today for the second part of the conflict resolution show. And I'm so glad that you guys are here with me. I have a new cast, some new, some are not. We're definitely here for the conflict resolution, but we're going to leave here with some resolution. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened a couple of weeks ago, I should say. And then we're going to proceed on with today. So again, I'm glad you're here. We're going to bring everyone up one at a time. We're going to jump right into it. You know, these shows are not long, but I saw y'all the other week though. I saw y'all right at the end talking about Mr. Boss microphone cut me off because y'all didn't want, no one wanted to know how he spends money. We're going to talk about it. Men do spend more than women on occasion. So anyway, to get this thing started, come on, Hank, come on up here with me. Let me see how you're doing today. How you doing, Hank?
Good afternoon, SB. How you doing today?
I can't hear you.
Okay, you hear me?
You're very, very low. Hold on for a minute. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Continue to speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, low, but I'm going to get it up to a good volume. Just a moment. All right, Ricky, come on up here with us. Ricky, can you talk to me just a little bit? I'm trying to get my volume together.
Hello. How are you?
My volume is still too low. I'm trying to get my volume together, guys, but I'm gonna get it together in just a minute. Now we have Miss Sherelle. Sherelle, how are you doing today? I can't hear you.
I'm doing good. Hey, y'all.
You're doing good. My volume is
Y'all
still
can hear
very,
me?
very low.
Ricky hear me? Ricky, you
just a
can hear
second,
me?
though. You look beautiful in pink.
Okay.
I love it.
Thank you.
And Miss Chantel. Chantel, come on up here and say hello to everybody.
Hi, how is everybody doing?
Thank you.
Hello.
And then Trill, come on up here and say hello. Uh-oh. Trill, there you go. Keep speaking, Trill. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Can you hear me?
I cannot hear you guys. I can hear you all. Let me say this differently, but it's not good enough for me. I'm gonna get Mr. Boss to turn my volume up a bit in my microphone, and we're gonna get started on this just a bit. But thank y'all so much for being here. We're gonna get started with a video that reminds us of what happened a couple of weeks ago, and then we're gonna jump into something new. But in the meanwhile, I am going to get my volume straight, and then we're gonna jump right into it. So just give me just a second. Just a second. All right, can you, Trio, say something to me.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
All right, there we go. All right, I'm good now, y'all. All right, so listen, last time we were here, we basically ended with Aaron. Aaron, y'all was talking about spending money in one pot. I ain't gonna even go there. We're gonna play a video and then we're gonna jump right off of this video. But remember, guys, we here on conflict resolution. I am going to recap the last show, but I'm going to start it out with this video and we're going to get it started. Thank
you. What I told you? You talking about all this dirt y'all want to give me. I can't put a price tag on it. I said, nigga, tell me what.
No, you don't that nigga right.
that kind of sums it up best is the one from Mr. Aaron. So just give us just a second to find the right clip.
You got feedback.
I know I'm hearing it from somewhere and I can't figure out. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from.
Give 5.
Sherelle, you are the lady of the hour. I don't know what's going on with that video, but listen, I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna give my own. I'm gonna give my own recap of the show. So listen, this is what happened. as the show went on, we began to understand. This all is for me. It's all geared towards conflict between women and men, and the ultimate goal is to be married. Are y'all still hearing that feedback? We are. Okay. Let me just go off camera just a moment to get this straight. Hold on one second. Let me get this straight. I'm trying to find this feedback problem.
Hey, Krew, is your mic set?
Yo, mic check, mic check.
Yeah, your mic sound like it's the computer mic right now, Trill. It don't sound like it's your mic. It's got the echo in the background.
I got you. One time. Let me fix it.
Ricky, who you got tomorrow?
I'm going with the Eagles and Kansas City.
That's who I got too. Miss Sherelle, who you got tomorrow?
Kansas City.
What about the 49ers and the Eagles? You like either one of them?
Mm-mm. My team been out, so I don't even care.
Trey, you riding with the Eagles?
I mean, it's against my better judgment because they, you know, they are the ops. You know what I'm saying? the Eagles are the ops. You know what I mean?
All right, guys, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Any feedback?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, we good.
Maybe we got it this time, hopefully. All right, so listen, sorry for all of that. I have no idea what happens sometimes. So anyway, to recap the last week's show, I think I'm hearing myself very well. To recap wait a minute, can we get the video? We're gonna try one more time to get the video, and then we're gonna get right into
SB, you
it.
might be asking too much now.
Well, I know
No, worry about the video.
the struggle gods. So anyway, turn me down just a little bit. I'm a little bit too loud now. Thank you.
Turn my mic up.
I turned it up. They turned it down. Okay, so listen, we came to the conclusions that women just had too high of expectations. The one part was unnecessary. And equality, we dumped out the door. But what we did come up with, and everybody agreed to, was that women and men need each other. So would y'all agree? Are we still there? Or did we, over the last 2 weeks, we don't need each other anymore?
I'm okay with that.
Everybody's okay with that. So that's going to be our baseline again, that we need each other. And then we're going to jump right into it. So listen, some things I've heard or we picked up on in the last 2 videos, just to bring the two of you all that were not here last week. Trill made it known that there's power in the box. So Chantel, do you understand what that means when we say it's power in the box?
I believe so. We're talking about sexual intercourse.
With the vagina. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Ricky.
I thought we were talking about the YouTube box. I'm sorry.
Shut up.
Pete, you were here. You were here. You know exactly what the box means.
I thought we was talking about the Xbox.
Oh, Sherelle, really?
Oh, there you go. There
Yeah,
you go.
I missed
There you
it.
Well, let me ask Trill again. Trill, were you talking about Xbox?
No, I wasn't talking about no Xbox, man.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm so
Trying
ready.
to get your ex's box, though. You know.
Oh.
Right.
Oh my God, this is going the wrong direction. Okay, listen.
Easy.
So Trill mentioned there was power in the box. But one thing we did not touch on that I had planned for us to touch on last week was the child support issue, or basically the child support enforcement. So I want to talk about that just a little bit. We've already said equality for the woman is out the door. It will never happen. Sherelle did mention that it was a couple of reasons why women may want equality, and that would be superiority and revenge. Now, we kind of let off there before we start having difficulties. So, Sherelle, do you want to begin there by telling us, going into that a little bit more, or at this time, and then we'll go right back over, then we'll get into the child support, and then we'll talk about the box.
I think it's been a patriarchal society, so women have been getting the butt. Not all women are victims, but there have been women that are victims, and those are the women whose stories been highlighted. So even if a little girls are seeing other women get hurt and tell their stories of hurt, so they're automatically going in with, okay, I want to be better than a man. I want to have some type of leverage. So it's not that a man's left me and put me out the house, is that it might have happened to my auntie friend up the street. So they're telling me to be prepared. So they're already being fear-mongered from young, from somebody else's experiences. So they just, moving forward, they want some type of security blanket. But in the same way, the power kind of goes to your head and people abuse it. So
speak a little bit more onto that. What you mean power goes to your head, and who are you speaking to?
I think anybody kind of abuses their power. If there's no checks and balances and a person just has all out power, they start to abuse it. So when you get a leg up, if you're not used to power and nobody can put you in check, you just go free range. So
okay. So do you feel like single mothers have some sort of power?
Yeah. I mean, because it's like you can hurt me and then I got the power to take your money. I got the power to take your kid. I got the power to make your life a pretty hard time. In hurting the child in one way, but at the end of the day, like, you did something to me, so now I'm being vindictive to you and I have this power to do this. So yeah.
Okay. Chantel, can you speak to that last statement that Sherelle just made for just a moment?
Yeah, I agree with her. I think, I'm using child support. I know we haven't touched on it yet, but some women can use child support as a sense of power to control and to have something over the men. So I basically agree with everything she said, and especially the part where she said, it's not our trauma, but it's somebody else's trauma. We might listen to, or we might watch a movie or hear in a song, and then we're like, I'm gonna protect myself. Because men cheat, even though I've never been cheated on. Men are abusive, even though I've never been hit or I've never witnessed anyone being hit. Let me go ahead and protect myself. And then we form this community that's anti-men, even though none of us in this community have never experienced hurt from men.
That was a good segue, Chantel, because I want to go over to Ricky. So Ricky, we're doing resolutions to this conflict. And we already know that single motherhood and child support are a big conflict that go hand in hand. So what would you say to a man or a woman, however you want to address it? Because we're looking for resolutions. Now, we automatically know that children need to be supported. Let's not even play that game. Kids need to be supported. So from that point, what would you say, Ricky, is a solution or a resolution to this problem?
Am I addressing a problem? I just I need clarification. Am I addressing a problem that I'm already in? You see what I'm saying? Am I already in it?
Well, you could address it from both. Well, we would like individuals not to avoid the problem. We would love that. But you're right. If someone has already, made a bad decision, things didn't work out, whatever the situation is, you can attack it from any direction. Okay. But we need a solution or some sort of direction when this problem comes.
The solution is simple. I think the thing is that we understand these systems, while the baseline of them and the reason they exist is supposedly for a good reason. We know as men that they're abused. Correct? So with that being said, I give men the same grief I give women. Be more responsible. It's just that simple. Be more responsible. Like I said before, why would you sleep with a woman that's going to drag you through the ringer about your kids? Why I got to fight to see my kids? Why do I have to go through somebody else when I'm being as a man responsible? And that's the reason you chose to mate with me, that I was a responsible man, right? Why would I be with a woman that would even run me through that type of rigmarole to take care of my children? Because I'm doing it anyway. Right? That's first and foremost. And the thing is, and I said this the other day, my grandmama used to say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Right? So us as men, we need to stop acting like, oh, she did this to me. Oh, I'm in the system. No, you put yourself in that system because you chose the wrong woman. No matter what y'all say, fellas, you're getting punished for a bad character decision. You picked the wrong person. Right? We can't say in the same breath, oh, ladies, you got stuck with a pookie and you got a dumb baby daddy when you got a messed up baby mama. Right? Now, when you in it, you in it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Everybody talking about vote and make the changes accordingly. That system don't belong to y'all. If that was the case, the changes would have been made already. This has been going on for how many decades? And no matter what, people, y'all need to understand the reason these systems exist, because the people in mass are irresponsible. The people in mass are irresponsible. Be smart enough to vet a woman before you shoot up the club talking about, ooh, I want you to have my baby, to understand her belief system and understand what type of woman she is. So that way, if something does happen, because life happens, guys, you two can sit down as mature adults and come to a decision of how we going to take care of this kid and how we going to co-parent without putting the court and the other people in your business. That's the prevention. That's your solution.
Very good. And it actually looks like it started in 1988. The Family Support Act included child support provisions. I see here 1988. So I like that, Ricky. I like that last thing you said, as far as more so than anything, when you said that get together with your baby's father, if you can, and figure out how y'all gonna take care of that child. That's like 100. So Hink, what would you add to that?
Make child support tax deductible. I believe that's one thing I would definitely do. Another thing is I'm hearing about this. I don't know if it's a rule in Carolina or the Virginia area, but they're putting the child support on like a EBT card. So if a man would like to audit the card, and they're limit the people who are getting that child support are limited on what they can buy and what they can pay for. So I think one of the things was she can't go out and buy drinks, for her girlfriends or her guys or whatever the case may be. So I think that's maybe another good option I would like to see. Make it statewide, federal wide. I guess I'd like to see the men who are dealing with this, man, actually find out the laws in their state, their specific state, so they can know what's what and what's going on. So, but yeah, that's definitely what I would do.
I like that. I like that part with those incentives for the men. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but can I ask the question? When we talk about the card, I have no grievance with that. However you get it, you get it. But I've always wondered, how can you separate money if somebody's giving me money? If I had let's do better. If I had $200 in my account and somebody sent me $200, now I have $400 in my account. How do I separate the money to say that $20 went on a bottle of wine versus, how do we separate that?
You can have the child support go to one card, a specific card that you only deal with things for your child. So you never get it mixed up, right? So if a man sent you $500 this week, if it's on a specific bank account or debit card where you have something for your children, you know not to go into it for a girl's night out. So now your child, here comes something where your child needs new shoes or they have a field trip or something. You don't need to call the dad and ask for extra money because you've already budgeted the children's money.
So you're saying that the money would carry
in a specific place.
Okay, I got you. You're saying so the money would maybe carry over until the next week. You don't have to necessarily spend it all at a particular time. Okay.
Same way like an EBT card. Yeah.
Yeah. So food stamps versus your regular account. You know when you're spending food stamps money and when you're spending your regular money. It's two different cards.
Okay.
Or even with like HSA. I don't know how many people got HSA, but like if you subscribe to that program, then it's like they take a certain amount of money out of your check and they put it on a card that you can go spend anywhere, but you can only buy medical things with it. So when you go to get something, you could go to CVS or something and get a bag of candy and get a box of Tylenol. But when you try to pay for it with that HSA card, it's only going to register the box of Tylenol, and everything else is going to be a separate
You pay
thing
for
that
it.
you got to
Okay.
pay for out of your pocket on
So
the same
so
end.
it's
They get that infrastructure.
so it's like a flex spending card. Use pre-tax and all of that. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah, that does make sense. But this can only be done. You can only separate money if it's done with some sort of a card or something like that. Because otherwise it goes into one bank account. If I'm
Well,
spending
not
20,
not only that, but then if the father finds anything questionable, it can be audited.
right. But that's what I'm saying. I'm
So
trying to figure it out. Like when a woman gets money per se, and a check comes in her name, and I don't know how this is done. I guess a direct deposit. I'm not really sure. But if you got $50 going to a woman's account with her name on it, that 50 mixes in with her 100. Now she got 150. She's spending the money, whether she took her 50 that was already in there or the 50 that was added, and they're doing what they're doing. The card makes plenty sense. It's actually good. But I was just wondering, how do you separate cash? How do you separate money? I mean, to say, well, this came in for child support versus the 50 I already had, it's still 50. And
You
if she needs to spend it, she's going to spend it. So I'm just wondering how do we do that? How do you separate it?
you don't.
That's what I
Right.
thought. Okay.
You don't. Look, man, y'all, we got to get out this mind state. If you're not there, if you're not in the house to control what's going on, it's none of your business. I'm sorry. This what people don't understand. Look, if this is your family and if these are the things that mean the most to you, stick it out whether you like it or not. Again, what we gonna start doing? Making vows, in sickness and in health, one pot of money. You see what I mean? Like we can't keep complaining about stuff we know that's set. We all know if we have sex, a man and a woman, and she's fertile, and the conditions are right, there's a great possibility that she might get pregnant. Everybody act like that doesn't exist. These are the consequences of your actions. If you want to avert those consequences, then you have to act more responsibly. The system is built to rape, my apologies, to grape your pockets. That's what it's for. So if you mate with a woman and or man, depending on how it goes, and it doesn't work out, this is what you're going to go through. So please move more responsibly. And at the very minimum, if y'all can't work it out and y'all can't spend, be humble enough to say, hey, this is what I'm willing to do to work this out for you. And like I said, if you're with a person, a mate that would give you something that you would not expect after y'all break up, you chose wrong.
So Ricky, I got a question. Do you think men would prescribe to some sort of sterilization for a time?
Nope, my body, my choice.
Men.
No.
If there was something out there like a birth control pill for men, do you think they wouldn't? They wouldn't?
No.
Oh.
No.
Trill, what do you think about that? Would a man prescribe to a birth control pill?
It depends on what the effects of that pill is. I think like men gonna do due diligence to figure out, okay, what's the effects of this thing, and if it's the effects that I'm not comfortable with, like maybe it may be hard for you to get erections, or it may be whatever. Then man ain't doing that.
No babies. Hink, what do you think about it? Some sort of sterilization pill for men.
Yeah, I got it right now. It's called a vasectomy. So I don't think the average man is going to do that, but I don't have no problem with it. I got some buddies that I definitely encourage. I said, man, you got about 6 kids, though. You may want to look into that. I'll give you my urologist and he can hook you up. But no, I don't think we should be doing nothing like that. Not mandatory. I wouldn't volunteer for nobody to be like that unless they're going to go the route, like I said, and get a vasectomy, and they're literally done. And something can also be a vasectomy can also be reversed, so it can be,
Well, a vasectomy is a big deal. But I just wonder because there are so many scientists out there and they are really smart people. Y'all know they have created wombs to carry babies. You don't even need a woman anymore. So I was just wondering after all these years, why haven't they given or created something for a man for a time for him to take or use outside of condoms that would, keep him from having babies, from procreating for a time. And then just like he did a woman. I mean, that's just something to think about. I wonder why it didn't happen. Or, if it has happened, is it a secret and it's something we don't know about? Just common people may not know about it. So just a thought. But Trill, you go ahead and give us your input on child support, and then we're going to leave here and go somewhere else.
I say what I say all the time. I don't believe in putting loaded pistols in children's hands. I just don't. At the end of the day, you can complain about the consequences of something like that happening, right? But it all could have been avoided if you would have locked the pistol up, or if you'd have took more care of the pistol. You don't give them the choice to decide your future. When I was growing up, that right there was real important to me. Don't get me wrong. We was out there having sex, and sometimes condoms wasn't there. But I think even after, you gotta do your best in terms of trying to alleviate that situation, whether it's we going to CVS to get Plan Bs or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of dudes just risk it. They be like, hey bro, I just shot the club, or it is what it is. And then the baby come back around and he like, well, no, I don't want to keep the baby. But again, you handed a pistol loaded to a child. You gave her the option. If you don't give her the option, then you don't got to go about those things. So it's a discipline in terms of fixing it. The answers to major problems are never complicated. It's always very simple. It boils down to discipline. But it's about whether or not you're willing to be disciplined or not. The system is what it is. These laws not changing. We can go out there with our picket signs and do all of that we want to. These laws are going to be what they are. So because the rules of the game are what they are, you're going to either adapt to win or you're going to keep being a victim of it. I don't subscribe to being a victim of anything that I had control over. So even if I get into a relationship with a woman, let's say we married and she has some kids, whatever the case may be, I chose her to be my wife. So whatever happens on the back end of that, I got to shoulder that. That's my decision. I'm the leader in this situation. I chose her. I was supposed to vet her to make sure, see how she responded in certain situations where her back was against the wall, when she was mad at me. How does she react in that situation with other people and this, that? Let's just be honest here. Most dudes not doing that level of due diligence, but they'll gladly go in that same chick raw without her even being a wife. I mean, we talking about being at the club. You pull something at the club, niggas hitting the same night. Vegas, or whether you're in Houston or Miami or Atlanta, it's happening. And then when a woman get pregnant, man, I can't believe this. Man, it's crazy. They taking 60% of my check. But like I said at the top of this monologue, you handed a loaded pistol to a child. You got to take what comes with that.
I don't think I got to speak on the child support. I'm kind of pro the just avoid it, right? So I don't think that we should take the consequences for people having children, because I think that would result in more children. If nobody had consequences for it, they wouldn't have it. So I think the best thing to do is be responsible, and you should suffer if you're not responsible, men and women. It's like nobody should feel bad for you because that's a decision that you made. You made a decision. It's just sad that the children suffer for the sins of their mother and their fathers, but I don't necessarily think that you should just take away. Prevention is number one. What's wrong with saying I'm not gonna have sex with anybody I can't see me having a child with, because that's the result of sex. If you can think that in your head and you can do it. So if you become weak and you know what I'm saying, you get negative consequences from it, you gotta do the time, do the crime. But these laws are here for a reason. If we took all the laws away, you think people would be like, okay, I'm gonna live in bliss now. No, if people know it's consequences for their actions and they still choosing to do the wrong thing, if it's no consequences for their actions, they're going to do the wrong thing times 10. That's what I think.
Sherelle, I hear what you're saying, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem and the conflict comes in when the women have no consequences. The men
but see, they are having consequences, because look at their kids. Their kids are dying. Their kids are going to jail. Their kids
Well,
are
but
not.
not,
They're
but
not raising productive kids. Like
no,
you
not
think
all of them are like that. But not all of them are like that, though, Sherelle. Yeah, there's a
majority of
few.
the yeah,
Okay,
that's
but
what
the
I'm saying.
majority,
Majority of the kids
but
are
but not
unproductive.
but not everybody's suffering like the way we're trying to make it at times, right? Because you got some of those stories where the kids come out, they come out good. Now it's unfortunately they're emotionally probably damaged because their father's not in their life. So now you got to look at why the father's not in their life. We always talk about the father just left. Well, how about the verbal abuse that the man may take, and maybe another reason why the father left. Nobody should be verbally abused. I know that people don't recognize that as abuse, but it is abuse. That's why the word abuse is in there because it happens all the time. So we talk about these women. They may not put hands on them all men all the time, but if you're verbally assaulting me, verbally abusing me, have something crazy in it every damn day, and you don't think a man's eventually going to rear back and raise up? Because that's maybe his only way of knowing how to get you up off of him. That's his only way of communication is maybe violent because the way he was raised. I'm just saying we got to look at all aspects.
Chantel, do you have anything else you want to add? Because I'm going to run down what we've said and add a couple things.
Yeah, I wanted to add when SB you said that the women have no consequences. I would agree with that. The consequences is not the result of the kid because going in, you know the kind of man you chose to father your child. So you don't care about your kid's outcome. Statistics has showed us that a child raising a single and statistics don't even have to show us that a child raising a single parent household has it much harder than a child raising a two-parent household. So these women really don't care about their kids. If they did, they would have chose better fathers for their children. So, to your point, yes, there are no consequences to the woman. We sit and talk for hours about men protecting their seed and avoid the conversation about women protecting their womb when majority of women are reproducing for the minority of men. So if you're going to be honest with the conversation, where is the issue?
We're going to be honest about the conversation, but the solutions are, it's either way. I mean, for me, I'm going to add something to what all of you have said. Be responsible. I mean, that's ultimate, but we already know people are not being responsible. They're acting out of nature. They're just doing what they want to do. The next thing was prevention for the men. Absolutely, Ricky. I think it was Ricky. Yeah, Ricky. We do need prevention for the men. But again, this right here is, I'll call it that post clarity. You lose it when it comes time for the box because the box we've already said is very powerful. The next thing that you all did not say, but this could help solve a lot of problems if at birth, if the woman decides to have a child, at birth, we do DNA testing. We find out before that child leaves, and it just be a normal thing, a normal test. Before that child leaves, that father is absolutely named. And he knows going out of the hospital that he's a dad or that, it's established. There's no questions. So at that point, we say, listen, either it's mandatory that you all get married or you get no support. Both sides. If we know who he is, we first say, look, you got to get married. You had this baby. Now we've already known, we've established who daddy and mama are. Mandatory marriage, especially if they're a certain age, but I'm not going to get into that. Well, if they're young, if they're under, let's say if they're 18, 19, 20, 21. The mother and father are established. At that point, we're recommending they get married. If they don't get married, they have no assistance, none whatsoever. None. Next thing, I love the fact that now this is going to be for older people who are already in the system. The tax deductions, that was very, very good. I do think if a man is doing exactly what the state or county has required him to do, he should reap some sort of benefit outside of having a relationship with his child. There should be some tax benefit because if we have reduced kids to a bill or invoice, then yeah, he should get some kind of deduction for, if nothing else, for the fee that's being charged in some states. I don't know if that, what it is, but sure. And also, Hank, going to your point, the credit card situation, giving the woman a credit card for the child support or whatever the situation is, the custodial parent, that's an excellent idea too, because When money mixes, it mixes. There's no way possible that you can give me $200 and I already have $200 and I take out 20 and you tell me that came from yours and not mine. That's impossible. That's a crazy thought. It won't happen. So the only way is, like Sherelle also added, that it's in a different fund, and then maybe it's just being carried over. But then even at that point, the mother will stop contributing whatever she's contributing to use all of that. So it still really doesn't take care of the issues that some people have. You really can't determine where money goes once it leaves your pocket. That's what we really need to know. The other thing was, like Hink said, and this is the most important thing, is become more informed with the laws in your state or county, because in my state and in my county, I have y'all know the child support enforcement ladies, agencies, or whatever, whoever is involved, they have said they would actually do a payment plan. They are willing to set up payment plans with fathers or mothers, whomever the custodial is, until they get caught up if they're behind. They say they just want to know where dad or mom is. They just want to have a relationship with them the same way that person who brought the case to them. They just really want to know. So if you call them and like, look, I'm $500 behind. Can I bring you $25 today? Yes, you can. We need that relationship. And I think a lot of times individuals may run away from dealing with those child support enforcers because they don't know what it's going to be like. You know, they don't want to go nowhere near a courthouse if they're behind or things of that nature. But I was definitely told, because I did a little research, and also I pay child support for a lot of men. They said that they will definitely work out payment plans. Now, I have also dealt with certain states that did not want to work out a payment program, but they also had a $4 a month child support order, and they made it mandatory for me to send them $2 every 2 weeks. $4 child support order, y'all. So this is a ridiculous system, and I agree, and it definitely needs some updating. But again, I think it starts with the responsibility and prevention, because again, we don't have to play a part in this system. If those indeed are your children, which we will find out at birth, at that point in time, we never have to be a part of a system, but it's totally up to the people that are involved. Can we all agree on that? On what we said? Does anybody want to add something else? Chantel, did you want to add something else?
No, I agree.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on. I'm going to go back to the equality a little bit, because equality for a woman being equal to a man, we know that's completely out. But a lot of times when I'm hearing conflicts between men and women in these spaces, it almost sounds like the men also want to be equal to the women. What do y'all have to say about that? Either one of y'all can just jump in. Chantel, let's start with you.
I don't know. Can you clarify? Can you clarify what you mean?
Even with the child support system. Okay, this is my thoughts. I see men as being in authority. I see men as, in the beginning, in creation, that they are the authority. They are the heads. They have the power to do so. But when we make the woman our argument, or when we say, if these women are doing this, why can't I do this? And it's the equal. I feel as though they're giving away their power, just as in the child support. Once I say I'm going to have sex with this woman unprotected or what have you, even though she has 36 different ways to prevent birth or having a child, I just gave away my power. My power, as though that we're equal because of, I guess, the feminist movement and the fact that they want to be equal. That's off the table. Women are not equal to men in no way. But I do hear men sometimes like actually fighting that equality argument with them, as though they want to be equal just to make things fair. And things, it's not going to be that way, because they have been given the authority to lead us.
I personally have never heard it. I would hear it say like, okay, well, if women want equality, then let everything be equal across the board. You know, we can't pick and choose what we want equality in. If you're saying in that aspect, I've heard it, but personally, I've never heard where men are asking for equality with women, the same how women are asking for it with men. So I don't think I can speak on that one.
Well, just apply that point you made to the things that we don't agree on. You know, if a man is our authority, you know, they don't need to be equal with us. So when rules are applied, they have the greater responsibility. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
When rules are applied, and if both parties aren't following the rule, then it's in the one party who wants to adhere to the rules best interest to just walk away. So, I mean, you can't force somebody to follow the rule if they don't want to follow the rules. So if women are crying for equality and men are saying, hey, there's no way, instead of joining them to ball for equality, just walk away.
I agree. That was my point. Why don't, instead of fighting the fact, because for me, I've established that women will never be equal to a man. So there's no argument there. But I often see and hear men sometimes arguing the fact that you need to be equal. You want equal? I'm gonna give you equal.
Whereas like they're trying to be spiteful. So they're like, oh, if you want equal in this one aspect, then you're gonna get equal in everything else. So they're refusing to protect, they're refusing to provide.
It's never gonna be equal. It never was meant to be equal. It's called survival of the fittest. If it was fair, a lot of y'all wouldn't be here. If it was fair, a lot of y'all would not be on this planet. Right? We supposed to be men at the end of the day. We're supposed to be men. That comes with a certain responsibility, whether you like it or not. You're supposed to be women. That comes with certain responsibilities, whether y'all like them or not. It's where you guys want to shirk those responsibilities where the problem comes in. Right? You can't have it. Contrary to popular belief, y'all can't have it all. That's a lie. That's a lie. You got to give up.
Can you specify when you're saying y'all? Are you saying women?
I'm talking about men and women. I'm talking about men and women. With men, you can't say I want to be equal with you. I want to be 50-50 and then play authority figure. That doesn't make sense. Right? With a woman, you can't say, hey, I want to do what you do, right? And then don't suffer the same consequences. It doesn't go like that.
I think, do you think then if a man is open to 50-50 and a woman is open to 50-50, then it will work with them because they're both on the same page?
What works in your house works in your house. You see what I'm saying, sis? Right? If that woman and that man have an understanding and y'all rock with it, by all means, why should anybody knock it?
So in that situation, equality will work?
If they got an understanding.
Okay.
Well, let me say this. It will work until a problem comes up, until something arises where the man loses his job. That will probably mostly be what happens. If he loses his job and he no longer is able to contribute that 50-50, then that will be when the problem happens, because she's going to look upon him as to take care of the situation, because that's what we look towards men to do.
Right.
So even though we were 50-50 and everything was going good, when everybody had that 50-50 to contribute, when he lost his, typically it's going to be with the man, because the man will work an extra shift to make sure that we're good. But the woman is looking upon him to make sure this thing just keeps moving smoothly. So if he loses his job or gets laid off or what have you, then that's when that 50-50 will not work.
Right. And if I could finish my thought on it, right?
I'm sorry, Ricky.
No, you're all right, sis. It's your show. No,
I didn't mean to cut you off, though.
It was like, again, if it works, but the truth of the matter is that with most, again, if we're talking about it in the general sense, how many women can come to that understanding? Because just like SB said, when it comes down, when the rubber meet the road, when the times get hard, when it's time to put the fight up, the women's going to. What you going to do, dog? Let me know when I'm lying. Y'all know me. Hold me to court. Right? So again, if I'm the leader, I got to take it. I got to take it. It's just what it is. The problem is that, again, in my personal opinion, right? In my personal opinion, right? Even though it's expected, it's not appreciated anymore. Right? And 99% of the society in these relationships, women expect the man to move a certain way, do things a certain way, right? But it's not reciprocated in relationships. That's what he's supposed to do. Right. It's what I'm supposed to do, but I'm doing it for you. And I think that's the biggest problem. But that's just me.
Sherelle.
I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chantel. Go ahead.
Because initially I wasn't understanding your question, but to Ricky's point, then I would agree. Like, men who would much rather fall to the we can say it's the feminist movement agenda or whatever, to push that equality, they would much rather fall in the beginning and say, okay, yeah, I support you. I'm 50-50 woman empowerment, and they enter the relationship, they enter the marriage going 50-50, and without realizing, if, as Ricky said, the rubber hit the road, those women are going to be looking at you to lead eventually. So men do a huge disservice to themselves if they choose to fall to that whole notion of going 50-50.
All right. So Trio, do you agree with that?
Wait, you talking about what she just said?
Well, the fact that the men who also kind of push for equality.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would agree with that if we speaking in terms of expectation, because that's where I hear it most at, in terms of, well, women expect this, well, then why can't we expect this? Example, right? Like, it's a lot of women that claim they want traditional men. I want a man to pay for everything, like take me on dates, pay all the bills, do this, do that, do this, and the third. You ask that same woman, well, hey, can you cook for me? It's cook. I ain't your maid. I ain't your chef. I ain't your mama. So again, like, that's where I hear a lot of it at. You can't claim you want traditional, but you're not a traditional person. You want convenient tradition, but you want a fully traditional man. So I feel like that's where the comparison lies in there. And in that aspect, I agree 1,000%. Do not request nothing of me that you are not willing to give. Man, woman, child, or beast, as my coach used to say. So, expectations, sure. But, in terms of just regular everyday life, men and women are not equal. We weren't made to be equal. We were both made to play certain roles in each other's lives. And it's just certain things that come with that. As a man, when you agree to be with a woman, that's what you sign up for. But, in terms of expectation and in terms of effort and in terms of, duty, do not demand anything of me because I'm a man that you are not willing to provide from a feminine perspective or in a feminine way. That is the fastest way to get you dismissed. So that's my take on it.
Sherelle.
Wait, what's the question? I'm like, I'm lost now.
Often women are fighting for equality, but sometimes men actually move with equality also, or they want it to be equal also. So what do you think? And you can apply it to any situation the way you want to.
I think that majority of men are modern. Just like there's a modern woman, I think there's a modern man. And I think those people want to go 50-50. They want a partnership. They want equality. They don't want all the responsibility. I don't know if it's how they came up or how times is, but I think that's just what they don't want all the responsibility. So
Has this been in conversation, or is it just the way you see them operate and move?
that's how I see people operate and move. I see both people working. I see both people making decisions. Sometimes I see the woman even leading a little more than the man or whatever, but I don't necessarily see men wanting to be dictators and just control every aspect of the situation.
And is that how you see traditional? That's your definition for traditional?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't really understand traditional for the most part.
Let's put a definition on traditional, because that's not fair. A traditional is operating in order where you recognize that the man is the head. He submits to God, Christ, man, woman, child. It's just the order. He's the leader of the household. He's the person that makes the final decision, but he's the person that's making the decision. He's the one with the plan. So whatever the plan is, if you're falling within that order as a woman, you're fine. But I don't get the dictatorship part or the control part, because it's just his way of the order in his home. And you're just respecting that as a woman. It benefits you because we as women, we have our own role in the home, and it's to manage the home, it's to be available for our husbands, and it's to take care of the children, which is more than enough. Sure, we have to work sometimes, but it shouldn't supersede the marriage. It shouldn't be more than what the husband is doing. It shouldn't be equal to what the husbands are doing. We have to live a way where the man can put us in that position where we can relax and respond in our feminine instead of competing or wanting to be superior or looking for revenge or being resentful when he doesn't do what we ask him to do.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. That was a lot. I'm sorry. It was a lot. I apologize. Hink, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, a death to the modern man,
Mm.
a death to him. Let me say this. You might as well accept it because society's going to deem you responsible regardless. So you might as well embrace the leadership. You're going to take that L regardless of what you say or how you feel about it. You're going to take the L. So embrace it. There's no need to run from it. Be the man, the king that you are. Stand up and lead your queen in the direction she needs to be led into. If you want to follow behind the queen, then well, you're a different type guy. Then I'm gonna leave it alone about that. Now, if I'm dealing with a woman who talks like that, then I feel like I'm talking to a gay man. You got all this damn testosterone running through your body. What's any damn difference? Y'all both like the same thing. This is crazy. I don't understand why women want to continue to be like that, especially if she don't have to. Now, this is one thing if she has to, because she has nobody else. You know, she don't have that man to fall back on. She don't have that man to lead her and guide her. Okay, I could give you a little leeway, but at the same time, why don't you have that man? What about you that's driving that man away or just is not attracting that man towards you? What are you doing? What changes and adjustments you need to make? And as men, make the necessary change that you can be the king. I'm not a fan of 50-50. So, SB, I'm with you. I'm about one pot. You know, I had that conversation with my guy the other day. I talked about on one of my shows one time. I'm not a fan of 50-50 because I'm not about these secret funds, rainy day funds, just in case things go hard funds. I'm not with that. Hidden accounts. No, we're not doing that in Hink's house.
But Hink, Sherelle just brought up a very, very important part, in my opinion, because she's saying nowadays she's seeing a modern man. And that modern man is not thinking kingship. He's not thinking order. He's not thinking leader. He is, I'm not sure what his thoughts are. So again, if we were made the way we were made, or let me say it differently. If we were created the way we were created and had nothing to do with us, then that woman is definitely following that, still what we call a leadership, even though it's not a leader, it's half and half. What is that woman supposed to do? I mean, because she's now has a requirement to do a certain amount of things. And it seems like the men are okay with it. So how does a woman respond to that?
Again, he needs to talk to a man. He needs to have a good conversation, a heart to heart. I mean, drag out, knock out, fight with a man to have him have that conversation. Hey, dude, again, like I said, you're going to have to accept these responsibilities because the world's going to put everything on you. Why didn't your marriage work, Hank? Because I failed the marriage. Why did y'all lose your house, Hank? Man, I didn't make the payments on time. Why'd your light and your water get cut off? Because I didn't do what I needed to do as a man. Why ain't you got enough money to do these? Oh, I need to up my job game. I need to make more money. I need to work some more overtime. Whatever I got to do. Men are going to take the hit anyway. So if we're going to take the hit, you might as well take all the perks and the benefits of being a leader that you need to be, because you're definitely going to get the suffering and the sorrow and the blame. So just accept it and move on with it. We know, like Ricky said, we know the rules. Like the same thing, we know the laws. More likely, they're not going to change. We just got to learn how to play within the rules of the game. And that's part of that leadership. You got to learn how to play within the rules of the game. And if you're dealing with a woman who's not going to let you again be the leader that you need to be, you need to leave that woman at the restaurant. You don't need to be with her.
Can I add to that too? I
Absolutely
mean,
good.
I and while we're having this conversation, we love to point the blame. We'll love to say these men aren't stepping up these days, and men will say, these women aren't feminine these days. And we fail to realize that water seeps to its own level. So as a woman, and you're not finding a man who is a leader, who wants to take the throne, who wants to lead, you gotta look within. Maybe you can't handle that kind of man. So subconsciously you settle for a weak man. I mean, I'm talking about from personal experience too. I know a lot of times when people hear me talk, they think I'm talking from a place of perfection. Sorry, I'm sick if you guys can't ever notice. So if I cough mid sentence, please pardon me. But I had to look with it and say, why am I always attracting men who, like Sherelle said, the 50-50, like, oh, will hand me the check when the bill comes. And I've shared so many stories on my channel, the kind of, I call them feminine energy men, with all due respect, that I have been attracting. And it's not necessarily because I was super masculine, but it's because my lack of confidence within myself, maybe low self-esteem, thinking that I'm not qualified for a man like these men on the panel who gonna say, we turning left, we turning left. And maybe it's also my sense of wanting to control, like, oh no, I want to wear the pants too. So I know I wasn't going to be qualified for a man who would not allow me to wear the pants. So I said that to say, in the complaining that there are modern men around, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that there are not modern men around. I mean, the single mom raised us all. But in that complaining about the modern men, it's in our best interest to look within and ask if we're qualified for one of the traditional men.
That's good. So I was hearing what Sherelle said when you were speaking, and it made me feel like a lot of times women don't feel like they deserve to have that man who takes control of the situation or is willing to take responsibility for the entire situation, because it's not looked good, doesn't look good, because Sherelle called it dictatorship, which is for me negative. But my husband's never dictated anything. Did he give me structure? Did he sell me on being an entrepreneur? Absolutely. But it was such a benefit to me because that's not where I was. So I don't know where it went wrong or when it became such a negative thing. And I think it goes to what Chantel is saying. Chantel, it has now become negative to be that man. That's a negative thing to be that man, to be that leader. And that's where the value of who we are as people is being devalued so much. And I just think that that's something that we have to figure out where it happened and what to actually do about it. And Trill is coming to you. So what's your final thought on that? And we're going to take a break, try to get those. I think we had a couple of super chats, and then we're going to jump back into something right after.
What we still talking about roles? Or
Well,
50-50 and things like that?
Well, now he kind of took it over to the type of men. Well, Chantel and he kind of suggested that there's a problem with our value. She said maybe it was low self-esteem that made me attract this man that wanted 50-50, because originally that's not the role of a man. And even Hink said, even if it is what you're doing, you're going to get blamed for it anyway. Now, why not be the king you should be? So yes, kind of we're talking about the roles, but why do we struggle with that?
I think we struggle with it because people just pick partners based out of selfishness instead of what makes logistical sense in that aspect. I don't think it's necessarily an aspect of low self-esteem. It's just, it's these certain traits that I like in this man a lot. And I'm willing to overlook the fact that he's not a leader. I'm willing to overlook the fact that he expects 50-50 from me. I'm willing to overlook that because the sex may be good or because of the swag he has or how he makes me feel. It's a lot of women out here like that. You know what I'm saying? They accomplished in their own right, the greed, making a bunch of money, and they'll date down just because this man has a lot of traits that I selfishly want, until they get with that man, and then the relationship crashes and burns, and then they got to repeat that cycle a few times to be like, okay, well, maybe it would behoove me to get a man, or maybe it would behoove me to prioritize a man's leadership capability. And now I'm going to try to do that going forward. But I don't necessarily think it's self-esteem. I think people are selfish. People are very aware of self, but it's oftentimes to their detriment. So that's my take on that. In terms of, men's value. What was the second part that you said that Hink said about men's value?
Well, men said that Hink said that, I don't know, men get blamed for everything anyway. Why not just be the kings that you are supposed to be and walk it out? Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 1,000%. You
Mhm.
know, regardless of what the arrangement is in the household, the buck falls on you. I mean, I put a video out saying that, and man was in there crucifying me for that. I said that if the relationship fails, it's your fault. It's just like anything else. If I'm the quarterback of a football team, or if I'm the coach of a football team,
Yeah.
and we lose, I can't go in front of that podium and say, well, you know, if my running back wouldn't have fumbled, or if my receivers would have caught the ball, we would have won. If my kicker wasn't missing field goals, we would have won. As a leader, you cannot go in front of that podium and say that. So with leadership, with final decision making, with, you know, hey, this buck stops with me, what I say goes in terms of the direction of this relationship. You got to take accountability for the losses. That's just how it works. Nobody is going to come up to a family standing on the side of the street, homeless, who just got kicked out their crib, and walk up to the woman and say, damn, I cannot believe you got your family out here on the damn street. This is crazy. I don't care what 50-50 arrangement that the bill paying was. So because of that fact, what he's saying is 1,000% right. You're going to get the blame. You are the man. It falls on your shoulders. That's what we sign up for. If you don't want it, stay single and deal with women at your own convenience and move like that. But when you agree to marriage and things of a serious nature, anything that goes wrong in that relationship is on you. So I agree with bro, 1,000%.
So, ladies, y'all need to wait for your king come. Just wait. He'll come. So, listen, we're going to take a quick little break. See, can we get these super chats up and read those? And then we're going to continue on because we're going to the power of the box next. And I feel like that will be a long conversation. So, let's just see. Let's just see. All right. Wizard Kelly, how are you? Thank you so much for your $5, I think. Yeah, $5 super chat. Stop being scared of Black women. There is no both sides. One side is openly advocating for the dysfunctional status quo. Save yourself, Black men, is being responsible. Save yourself, Black men, is being responsible. Thank you so much, Wizard Kelly, for your $5 super chat. Who is this next one? John the Baptist. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. He says, make child support 50-50. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat, John. Make child support 50-50. There may be a solution to that. So, because I'm assuming that would also include some sort of custody agreement too. So that might be something that can be done. Bella Rings. Hello, Bella. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here and for your $4.99 super chat. She said, good day, SB panel chat, just support. And thank you so much for your support. And we will see and talk to you real soon. Thank you, Bella. All right. So let's see. I don't think there were any more. Let's get back into this. We're going to talk about the power of the box. I've noticed myself, we're not going to lie about it, that women are not listening to men, especially in these spaces. They asked us to just listen, and we don't, or we won't. They say, can you cut your nails down a little bit? And we say, no, we won't. It's like, wear your natural hair. And we say, no, we won't. Make your dress a little longer. You know, if you just do that, you know, maybe we can get together. No, I won't. But even though we are not as cooperative as we should be, Trill has noted that the power is in the box. So the woman actually has the power to influence the man to do things that he may not normally do. So with that being said, Trill, how would you advise a woman that wants to be married to pursue a man? Not necessarily pursue, but make herself available for men.
She has to understand the concept of leverage. Just like with anything else in business, like if I'm majority owner of this company, then it's I can throw my weight around in terms of getting what it is that I want from a man. But women don't. I don't want to say have the wherewithal, because they do know how powerful that thing between their legs are. But again, I think they give it away so freely to where it loses value and even they mind. But fact is that, you know, you don't have to argue with a man. You don't have to get loud with a man or anything to control him. Women have the most powerful asset in existence. That's just what it is. It's more powerful than money. It's more powerful than anything else. If you look up murders that happen in society, more times than not, especially between men, more times than not, it's a woman related to it. Men will kill you over a woman faster than they'll kill you over stealing money from. But then people will say, oh, money is the most. No, it's not. What's between women's legs is the most powerful asset. But the fact is women don't wield it accordingly because of selfish reasoning. So because you're willing to give me the most powerful part of you, the most powerful asset in the world with little to no effort, how can you expect me to be willing to give any? What type of incentive do I have? I'm getting 99% of the benefits from you without even being in a relationship. It doesn't matter what you're worth. You know, I gave an example early on the podcast. If I walk into a Mercedes-Benz dealership and they got a Benz on the showroom floor, brand new, I checked the mileage. It has 2 miles on it. And the price tag in the window is $200. Or as a man, are you going to pay the $200 that the price tag says, or are you going to pay the $80,000 that is actually worth? I'm going to pay the $200 that's on the window. But women will put the $200 tag on the window and get mad at you for not paying the $80 that is really worth. That's the problem. But again, you got to move as to what your value really is. And certain women understand that, and they do move that way. But then those women typically end up married. But others think they can finagle the system, you know, to their own convenience, and they end up in situations that are not ideal. So, you know, I think at the end of the day, you know, women just got to be a bit more diligent and understand the concept of leverage. Y'all have all of it. Move accordingly.
So, Trill, you said that way too fast because I already told you we don't listen. But let's say it again. You said we'll be valued at $80,000, but we'll put the $200 price tag on the outside, and we'll accept the $200. Am I right?
That is correct.
Ladies, did y'all hear that? He's saying you giving all your equity away. I just don't think they heard that. I just don't. I'm just feeling as though that kind of just, you know, they was ready for the comeback and they didn't hear that. But I heard you, and I'm going to talk to Sherelle about it, and then I'm going to go to Chantel and to see where we are. Go ahead, Sherelle.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about that $200 price tag on that $80,000 value.
I don't think they are worth $80,000. I think some women are Mercedes Benz and some women are 1987 Chevy Impalas. But you know, I think some of them are priced the way they're priced.
But that goes back to what Trill was saying, because we all started out a certain way. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, we are. I think in the beginning we might start off as a Mercedes Benz, right? Because we pair, you know, and I think we should definitely be taught to value ourselves young. When we're virgins, our fathers, our mothers, people around us should be telling us to cherish ourselves, not to have sex. But I think we've all been told that. I don't think no little girls was encouraged to have sex as a teenager. No little girl was encouraged to have sex outside of wedlock. All our parents were disappointed when we had sex, no matter when we had sex, you know what I'm saying? Unless it was in marriage and it, you know, yield beautiful results. But if you don't understand your value, nobody else is going to understand it. If you don't value yourself, nobody shouldn't value you because you set your price. So if your price is $200, that's on you. That's not on them. If I could go to Walmart and pack a basket full of stuff and walk out for free, I'm going every day. Every day. I ain't never, ever not going. You know, there's no consequences for it. I'm going in there. I'm getting it for free. So, but that's on Walmart. That's not on me. It's just not. So I definitely understand what he's saying, but don't have sex. That's my motto. Don't have sex with these men. That's my motto.
All right. Okay.
Roll your mind. Stop.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
might need clarification because I did not get what True was saying. And I made notes because we just got from talking about men being the head and men, you know, sitting on the throne. But then Thrill, you mentioned that women have the leverage and that if we want to control a man, we need to keep the box. But like, I'm a little confused because if men are the head and they're the throne, how do we have leverage? And then if so, then why is our box so quote unquote great if the man is the king?
Because men are dumb enough to fall susceptible to that. Men ruin their fortunes all the time over women. We see men cheat on their spouses and have to give up half of their money. Kings throughout history, women have been able to manipulate them, get them fighting somebody else, get them killed, and then she inherit the wealth. Do you know what the number one cause of like women millionaires is?
But are we talking about the kind of men that you guys just encourage men to be? Because I want to say it was Ricky or King, forgive me if I'm wrong, had encouraged men to stay on their square and not fold to women. So if we're talking about those kind of men, we then don't have the leverage because no matter how much good our box is, that's not going to cause them to fold.
Okay,
So I'm a little confused by the kind of men we're referring to in this conversation.
Okay, so question to that point. Would you say that that's the majority of men in terms of that mindset, or would that be the minority?
Those are the majority of the men that we're talking to. The majority of the men that this conversation is about.
No. I'm not talking about this conversation specifically. We're going to speak as a whole in terms of the community. When I say that's the most powerful asset in the world, the reason being is because the sheer volume of men who are willing to not move the way we are talking. And the fact that that's the case wills the power to them. So we can't just speak to the men in this conversation. We have to speak to the men as a whole. So I ask again, the men in terms of having that mindset, no nonsense, standing on my square, I'm not letting no piece of ass dissuade me from what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. Would you say that that's the majority of men or the minority?
So that would be the minority of men.
Right. So that's why the power is the way it is. Women have that power because the majority of men are willing to sacrifice everything that they've built over a piece of ass that's not worthy of it.
So then those women who have the leverage, it's backwards then. Because if we're going to say that the minority of men are those men who stand on their square and have the power, then women don't have leverage over those men. And if we're encouraging more men to be like that, then you would have contradicted yourself than if you said the box has leverage. Because
I think what he's saying, I think what he's saying is they have enough leverage over enough men to do what they want to do or what they need to do.
In the current backwards society, right?
Yes.
Because then if an ideal society, the conversation we just had, that men need to lead, because as Ricky said, either way, the consequences is going to fall on you men to lead. In an ideal society, when men hear you guys' message and they start leading, then the box won't have any leverage on men who are leading, and women can't control those kind of men with the box.
But I think the thing about ideal is that the likelihood of us ever seeing that type of society is very low. So because of that being the case and the way society is the way it is, because again, the statement security boss is claiming that, or not claiming that I made, is, saying that I made is of the society that we are living in. And the fact is that in that society, because they're able to influence the majority of men. So now let's just look at it from a sheer numbers perspective. We have not all women, most women are on the same page, right? In terms of, how women stick together, especially when it comes to against men. Let's call that what it is, right? That's why we talk about sister code and things of that nature, right? So you have the majority of women sticking together, and then those women are able to influence majority of men, just like you just confirmed, right? So now they have all women and majority of men. So from a sheer numbers perspective, they wield the power in society. Now you're talking about ideal. Again, that's a separate conversation. I'm talking about reality. I don't speak in ideals. I speak in what is.
So
and what is that women have the most valuable asset on earth.
So, but by telling women then that they have the most valuable assets on earth and that they can use it to leverage men and control men, isn't that contradicting what we're trying to tell men to step up and take charge? Because we can't have both. We can't have the women use our boxes as leverage and men taking charge.
Let me add one thing.
I would say no. I would say that those women are not supposed to use that to, I guess, control men in a malicious way.
Okay.
Those women are supposed to be cognizant of their power so they can whittle away the nonsense, to Pookie's, Ray Ray's, all these different references that I hear spoken about. They are able to whittle that type of stuff out to get the man that is capable of leading them, the man that is actually deserving of them. But a lot of women just kind of throw
Give it away.
throw the ass around
Okay,
recklessly and
okay.
waste time with men who aren't worthy of having them. That's what I'm
Okay,
talking about.
I think I get where you're going now. Thanks for clarifying.
Let me add one thing to it too. It's two different stages of a man's life. I think too. If we kind of say that, then it makes more sense. The man that is the leader and is the king, the head of his household, he's a married man. The man that will allow a woman to have leverage and have him throw his life away is a man that is not yet married. He's a man that may be, or a woman may be looking, like he just said, looking for a man to be the king. This is a dating situation, is what I see more. He will lose everything behind that versus a man that's already in a situation that is married and he's being the king. He's saying once you're in it, this is how I see it. Once a man is in that relationship, a marriage relationship, and he needs to be covering of a woman and a family, his demeanor should be totally different. And no, he does have the power because that's the position he's in as a married man. That position and that role is given to a married man. But a man that is out in the dating world per se, he's moving in a way where he's allowing the woman to conduct his decision making. Instead of being that man that's leading to be a husband, he'll have sex with her unprotected, and then he'll have a baby untimely. Things of that nature. I'm just giving an example how she's running the show with the box.
Okay, okay.
All right. So, Chantel, go ahead. Was this?
Um, yeah, no. He clarified what he was saying because I was honestly confused. I know Steve Harvey says it like, woman, the things that you're sitting on you can rule world, but I don't want a man who is going to base the decision on my box. Like a man who is blindly led by a woman box is not a man who is a great leader. So that's why I was a little confused how we hype up a woman's box and hype up sex and act as though it doesn't come, I mean, every woman comes with that hole right there. We tend to, let women believe that, oh yeah, it's the best thing. So the 90-day rule, where how I see, if you're a wife, you're a wife. There are some characteristics of a wife, yes, but if a man is gonna choose to marry you, it doesn't matter what day you give it up. If you're not qualified for marriage, you're just not qualified for marriage. And I think too many women have been led by sex. Like we are like, hold on to the sex, but at the same time, we're not doing anything else. We're not learning how to cook. We're not learning how to submit. We're not learning how to clean. We're not doing any of those things. We're just holding out on the sex. So we run the risk of letting women think that all they can bring to the table is sex and their womb. And we see it so often. You ask them what they bring to the table, they're the table, or they'll, open their legs and say, well, my parts. So I think we do a huge disservice when we praise the box too much, and we make women think that that's all they need to get a man, or to control, or to learn how to keep a man.
So I have something to add to that, but before we do that, let me read this super chat really quick. John the Baptist, thank you so much for your $5 super chat, and he says dictator is not a negative word. It is just a word that people have a hard time accepting. Why, John? Why would we have a hard time accepting it? If you call your husband a king, then he is a king. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Black Man Unfiltered, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. And he says men have to take back their power. They are becoming women to make women happy. Be a leader or move. Thank you, Black Man Unfiltered, for your $5 super chat. Okay, so I think that was it. Thank you so much for your super chats, guys. So, Chantel, I don't know if I heard this correctly, but there is a way that a woman that is meant to be a wife that aligns herself with the Creator in a way she should carry herself. She should be very modest and things of that nature. I'm not going to go through the lineup right now, but I think I heard you say it doesn't matter what day or how long it's been that she would give herself to her man. Is that, did I hear you say that?
Let me clarify. Meaning, if you are not a wife, if you don't have the qualities of a wife, and I mean, it goes without saying, we all know you're a wife before you get married, right? If you don't have those qualities of a wife, holding out till the 90th day, according to Steve Harvey, isn't going to automatically make you a wife. And I think a lot of women will hear a message, and that's how I interpreted Trill's message. And correct me if I'm wrong, as the box is leverage. So the longer you take to have sex, the more he's going to want you. But we neglect the other skills and the other mindset that's required to make you a wife. So it's not just the box, and we can't say the box is leverage. I would feel much better if we were to start saying femininity is leverage, submission is leverage. Those things that men actually want from their wife as leverage to say, hey, this is what I can offer to you if you put a ring on my finger, not the box. Because I mean, a man can any street corner, just drive by and you get the box. So I feel like we put too much emphasis on the box, for lack of better words.
I can agree with that, but that's the time that we live in. We are putting too much emphasis on the box and money. The box and the bag, two B's. You're right. That's where we are. No, go ahead, Trill.
No. I was gonna say she said if she had it misconstrued, tell her. So I'm telling you that you definitely have it misconstrued. When I'm alluding to vagina being the most powerful asset on earth, that's I'm not saying that, hey, that's the only thing that you got to bring to the table. I'm saying that you have to leverage it to get the type of men, to whittle away the men who are unworthy of you. Those are two different things. Now, of course, you do have to bring other aspects to the table to keep a man, sure. In terms of all of the, benefits that we want in the wife, femininity, consideration, caringness, nurturing, all of that, we can go down the list, blah, 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 blah. But fact is that how you wield your box will determine the type of options that are available to you. And I also disagree with the fact that you said we know a wife before she gets married. I highly disagree with that, because we don't know, we men don't know how to be husbands until we're married either. You may have transferable traits, but those are two totally different things. It's similar to sports, right? I could be in the gym bench pressing and squatting all summer, but you're not in basketball shape until you actually get on that court and start hooping. So it's the same thing with that. Marriage is a different aspect. I'm not sure if you ever been married before, but those are two totally different. I was a great leader as a single man, and when I got married, I struggled early in terms of my initial year, because those are two different fields that we playing in. Just because I'm a great leader as a single man doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate. So I disagree with that fact. We know she's a wife before she gets married. No,
You have a good
idea.
Usually when I say that, I refer to the Bible scripture that says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. You got to have the qualities of a wife before you get married. And I do agree that, once you sign the paperwork, that's when the real work starts. But you do need the great qualities of a wife and of a husband before you get married. So that's what I was referring to. If you are out here on the dating market and you don't have the good qualities of a wife, but you're holding on to your box, thinking that, oh yeah, I'm going to leverage my box, it's doing you a huge disservice. There's so many other things, more important things that we should be focusing on, except for a box. No, I'm not advocating for women to go out and sleep around. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, when we have these conversations, we put too much emphasis on sex and not enough on anything else. And you did touch on the first thing. Can you refresh my memory? What was the first thing you had said before you said the wife, before you married? Do you remember?
Was it me?
No, Trill had said something in regards to what I said about the box.
Yes, because you said that you interpreted me saying that the box is the most powerful asset on earth as a woman, that should be the only thing that she should be focused on bringing to the table, and that she didn't have to bring anything else. I said that inference was wrong. I said that, again, you can leverage the box, sure, in terms of bringing you the man that you want, but to keep that man, you're definitely going to have the other intangibles that we speak about. So again, just clarifying what my point was, because it sounded like you misconstrued it.
Okay. Yeah, because when you're saying, like, the box, bringing the box to the table, I'm thinking of it where it's like, play games with the guy, hold off on sex long enough until he makes a commitment, and then you give him sex. I was just saying, like, it doesn't matter if you give him sex on the first day or if you give him sex on the 90th day. And I said the 90th day in reference to Steve Harvey. If you're not a wife, nothing is going to get you wifed up except having those wife qualities. So, and to answer your question, security boss, it doesn't matter. That's when I say it doesn't matter what point you have sex with the man. If you're not a wife, you're not going to get wifed up.
I hear exactly what you're saying, but I'm one of those people too that I tell women to preserve themselves. But I'm talking to women who want to be married, who are willing, that don't know everything. It is
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It is true. Once you marry someone, you definitely have to adapt and adjust to the man that you married. But really, we all are operating in externals or in external things when we get married. You know, we cook and we clean and we don't mind doing it and we respect our man. But as far as becoming one, as the Bible says, we don't know what that actually looks like. So although we do the externals as wives, we actually have no idea how deep and spiritual that is until we get into it. So both of you all are correct. But I absolutely tell women to preserve themselves until they have that promise of being married. I don't see the need to continue to share your box with anybody until he says or has married you or has agreed to marry you. And agreeing to marry you may be absolutely too soon, but I'm assuming that we're not dealing with people who are virgins already.
And
So
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's why I have to emphasize I'm not advocating women to have sex on the first date.
right.
I think, sometimes when we have these conversations, it's so black and white. If I'm saying, ladies, when you have sex with him, it's not as important as much as you bringing your wifely duties. I know a lot of people who are committed to misunderstanding me, gonna hear me saying, go have sex with him on the first date.
No, we as ladies, and I do think that's a big part of becoming a wife, having that type of discipline, self-discipline, not to want to have sex until that man has promised you a ring in marriage. That's what I would say to a woman, definitely, because we can't live in chaos forever. I mean, I guess we can, but that's not the goal. But let me read this super chat first, and then Ricky, I'll come back to you. Black man, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He says the box can have 475,000 miles on it, no warranty with a transmission leak. Men go crazy over it. Leave them alone. Oh God, must we always be cars? Okay, John DeMathis, thank you so much for your $10 super chat. The box is only has power when men don't understand purpose. When we understand God's creation, God created the woman for the man. Yes, she has value, but no power. Thank you, John, for your $10 super chat. And I do believe that.
Oh, just quick question. I'm curious. What percentage of men would you say understand their purpose?
None of them. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of that talking point. I'm sick of it. What's your purpose? To get up and get a bag so when you find a woman you want, you ready? Let me finish. Because if that was the case, then no married man, no rich man would be married. If it's all about his bag and his purpose and getting up and doing that. Men do stuff so when you find a lady, the one you want, the one you believe that's right for you, you got your stuff in order. That's it. Stop with my purpose. Your purpose is to find a lady that you can build your legacy with and have kids and pass what you did down the line. Stop, man. I'm so sick of that. What your purpose? Your purpose is to get a woman, nut in her, and have some kids. That's your purpose.
Dearly beloved.
Stop, man. And as far as the conversation for a woman to get married, y'all femininity, the box is part of y'all femininity. Y'all a package deal. Hey, I'm a package deal. Y'all can understand it when it come to kids, but not the full onset of getting a man. All y'all got to do is be ladies, but let's tell the truth. A lot of y'all ain't the ladies y'all think y'all are.
Did you hear what I said?
They liars, bro. They liars. Y'all not. Y'all not. Men telling y'all, men telling y'all, hey, if I could sleep with her on the first date, I might wife her. And y'all roll with that narrative. How many people y'all know that's married that somebody hit it on the first night? I know one. Y'all always go to that extreme case. I know one. One of my friends hit it on that day and they got married. No, I don't care what nobody say. Any man that hit you on the first date, he gonna have questions. Who else got the hit? I mean, I'm fly. You know what I'm saying? You got the juice. I got the juice, but I ain't the only man with the juice. All y'all got to do is be ladies. All those things, Chantel, and your box, yes, right? But also being a woman, being feminine, listening, knowing how to cook, take care of a home. But y'all want to hold it until y'all marry that dude like it's something y'all wasn't supposed to do. So why would I marry you when you never exhibited these qualities as a woman? Why? You know why? Because it's not really in you. Because if it was in you, when you met that man and you was grooving and you saw he about something, hey, come over my house, baby. Let me cook you this steak dinner. What's happening? Let me come over your house. She come over your house. Hey, you want me to help you? You want me to help you clean up something? You want me to help do your laundry? Whatever. Right? But no, y'all want to hold it, right? Because it's not really you. Right? A man, even though he ain't married to you, if he call you his girl, he gonna handle his business with you. Oh, the sink ain't working. You need something done on your car, right? You need some help with this. You need me to grab it, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But y'all saving it for somebody you ain't gonna never find because it's never you. The problem is you. Y'all keep blaming men and women. The problem is you. You're not the man you think you are, and you're not the woman you think you are. Plain and simple. I do it because that's what I do. Women that want to get married get scooped. The ones they used to be hoes. Funny, they can find a husband. Fat girls, skinny girls, ugly girls. Make it make sense. Would y'all please pick a lie? That's all I keep saying. Please pick a story.
All right. So thank you, Ricky. Ricky, I think you summed it up. We're going to read the super chat from King Spark 5799. He says, first of all, thank you so much for your $19.99 super chat. He said, men must move unapologetically with honor. Oh, I like that. I like that. Thank you so much for that. So we're going to keep it moving. So did anybody else want to add anything on that? Because I definitely agree that we know the externals as wives, but I still say preserve the box. Some may not agree with that, but I don't think we should just be giving it away to everybody. So let me read this right here before we start.
Security boss, the thing about that is, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
No, I was gonna say the thing about that, you not giving a box up ain't gonna help the situation for you, because a man will wait you out. I said on another show before, he'll knock the neighbor down while he wait you out if need be. That doesn't matter to a man. A man will wait you out until you're ready to give it up. And like I said, he might even knock down her auntie, her sister, her cousin. Doesn't matter. Wait you out. But then when that time comes, he's gonna be right there ready for you, blue pill and all.
So Hink, I don't quite agree with that. I know you're a man and you probably know, and I guess that would be the case. But for me, if I was looking for a husband in that process, I would definitely be seeing if he moved like a husband, if he has the principles that I need for him to have to lead me, if we even have the same principles, if we even talk in the same language, and I wouldn't have that issue, that would be that man that I marry. And it wouldn't be a long period of time, because if that's the case, he's going to know that I'm the wife and I'm looking for him. So I'm not talking about years and things of that nature, but that would be, and also that man would respect what I'm saying, because again, I don't believe in living in chaos. This is not how it's supposed. I wasn't supposed to be a single mom, first of all, but I'm not going to let it happen to me again. So I'm not going to just listen to what you say. You're going to have to move a certain word, brother. We got to do the certain things. And that ring and that proposal.
But security boss, he's going to respect what you say. That's why he's waiting you out. And he's going to move accordingly. You're not going to see him move the way he needs to move. He's going to secretly move like the beast and the sniper that he is. And he's going to move around and keep knocking them down until you're ready. And he's going to put the certain women, men put certain women in certain boxes, categories. You understand? Okay, I got on the first night. Yeah, more than likely she's a hoe. And I'm going to treat her as such. And then she'll get the whole category. Okay, security boss is a lady. Okay, I got to come at her differently. I can't come at her like I do the hoes. I got to come at her more respectful, because she seems like the type of woman that I eventually want to bless her with my last name. And so in order to do that, I'm going to treat you as such. But I'm going to keep on moving until you give me what I'm actually looking for, so I could test the model. I know Sherelle said the 87, we said Chevy Impala. That's a beautiful car, baby. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a box Chevy. It's one of the best. But nonetheless, yes, for sure. But nonetheless, we will move, and we need to move. and get it where we need to get. Now you got some men that will wait with you. You got some men that will. Now, I don't think that makes him less of a man or less of a leader or anything like that. But a man still has his desires and needs and wants. And if that's what he wants, that's what he wants. So you're gonna realize you got a man with a high sex drive. So now you got to better accommodate that man. Because if he's still moving and knocking down your neighbor, your auntie, and everybody else, he's got a high sex drive. You better be ready to keep up.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
He can have a high sex drive. I just figured he'll probably go get the ring and ask me to marry him much sooner. That's all.
But this is my thing.
And
If
it
you
could be
know
the
that you
case.
can't, if you know that you can't keep up with a man with a high sex drive because you have a low sex drive, shouldn't that be a conversation that you having in the beginning? So like if the 90 days isn't for people to just be like, oh, I'm dating and after 90 days, I'm just giving him the sex. The 90 days is supposed to be the process of, do I fit into this person's life? Are we aligned? Are we going to the same place? So are you marriage material? Do you fit into this man's life? Because you can be marriage material, but if he's not ready to get married 6 months, a year later, 10 years later, he's still not gonna marry you. Do you fit into his life? Are you what he needs to be married? That's what you're supposed to be figuring out. And in the 90 days, when you realize you're not that girl, you need to move on without having sex with him ever. It's not, oh, he made it to the 90 days, so he just gets the prize. No. If you didn't see what you needed to see and y'all are not on the page y'all need to be by day 90, the chapter's supposed to close. You're not supposed to have sex and keep writing in the book. The chapter's closed. Boom, boom, next. And the thing about it is, I know people that say, well, you can wait 90 days and think that it's all and give it up to the man and he can play you. Well, guess what? If you having sex on the first date or after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, how many niggas gonna play you in that time?
Well,
You gotta get better with it.
Well, the same breath, you got to let it be known that you want to get married. You got to let him know your intentions. I said it before, and I'm saying it again. If you don't let a man know your intentions that you want to get married, he's going to hang around and be a common law marriage is what you're going to have. He's not going to put pen to paper, not unless you force his hand and let your intentions be known. Now, if you let your intentions be known that you do want to be married, you are a wife, you want to have a family, then let it be known. And then he will move as such, as a man should. But if not, he will play you like a game.
Exactly.
And
You
to
have to
add
be intentional. Definitely have to be intentional. It's not like a job. You go to your job, you qualified to get the job, but you got to do a whole lot of working before you get a promotion. You can't predict that, right? But that's not how a relationship is. You don't put in all the work and then hopefully that you get a promotion at the end. Like some people just have no intentions on marrying you at all. And
At all.
you have to have that understanding from the gate, from the jump. Like I said, you got to find a man, get on his program. He's not changing his program for you. A man is not going to become somebody else. He'll become it to get what he wants. Do you fit into his life and his goals for what he wants? If you can't buy into his plan, leave him alone. Because he going to be a man. It's in him. Like, he could play the part as long as he wants to. A lot of people feel like, oh, this man struggled with me. He lived with me. I took care of him. He wasn't being, he played the role that he needed to play. When he get into his role of I'm a man, I lead my life, that's when he really making his decision. So go off what that man saying the program is. Because 9 times out of 10, he's not changing his program. Not for you. If he want to change it for himself, that's one thing. But he's not changing his program for you. If he feel like he not getting married till he 45 and he 32, sis,
He's not gonna get married till he's 45.
he gonna wear you out until he 45 and marry who he want to marry.
Exactly. That's why you preserve your box. But listen, let me go to Chantel and then Hink, I'm gonna say one final thing and then I'm gonna read the super chat. Go ahead, Chantel.
No, I just wanted to add. Hink said an important point that don't be with no man who don't want to get married. And a lot of times we'll wait out that 90 days, not giving him the box without even having a conversation of, are we on the same page? Do you want to get married? So that's why I'm saying, like, we do a huge disservice focusing on the box and not everything else that Sherelle was saying within that waiting time that we should be really focusing on. When leading a conversation by sex and neglecting everything else that Sherelle perfectly summed up, we're doing a huge disservice. And maybe that will be one of the reasons why, even though you wait the 90 days, you're still not getting the desired that you want, the results that you want from dating.
So let me add to this, and both of the ladies are definitely correct. And Hink, the reason why I say this, my husband and I got married within 6 months. I met him a whole year prior, but we didn't date the whole year. We didn't date at all. But when we did date, it was 6 months and we was married. What I'm saying to you is we have to have those tough conversations just to find out if you two are on the same plane. Just like these two ladies just said, my husband was ready to be married. I'm my husband's second wife. I was ready to be married. So there was no game plan. The box wasn't coming until after we got the promise to marry. You know, he could have waited me out if he wanted to, then I wasn't going to wait with him. I want to be married, but we're not going to play this game of test driving. And see, women test drive too much, because if a woman test drives and she actually gets pregnant, then she now has another baby and no husband. I'm not advising any woman to do that, but I will advise them to preserve themselves, because that way there's no trauma, there's no babies, and there's no misunderstanding. Now, if you want to marry a man and a woman wants to marry, you know, a man wants to marry a woman and a woman wants to marry a man and they're of age, I don't see why we have to have a long engagement and a whole lot of conversations. Just put it out on the table and figure out where we are. And it's real simple. We're going to go for it, because there's no perfect situation. I'm not going to know everything about you and you're not going to know everything about me. But the fact that we have the same thoughts, or we have the same principles, or we want the same things is what we're looking for if it's marriage. If you all just dating, then it's clearly up to you all what y'all want to do. I mean, if y'all want to have sex, have sex. But, you know, if someone is intentional about their life, and I think a woman that already has a child needs to be intentional about her life. I think a woman that doesn't have a child at all needs to be very intentional about her life, because it is her life. And if she wants a husband and doesn't want to live, like I said, in chaos alone anymore, then it's time for her to make some big decisions. And if it means sacrificing her sex life until she finds that man that is willing to wife her up, then hey, sacrifice it is. But let me read the super chat.
Well,
Hold on 1 second. There are long for your $9.99 super chat. He says some men with loud voices in this space tell women their boxes all men care about, and that and they all they're good for, and that's all that they're good for. What's my response? Again, I hope I just answered that. I think I don't know if men tell women that. I do know that there is some urgency for women in these spaces to have sex with a woman. With a man if they are not virgins. I say the woman has to be smart and understand what she sacrifices when she has sex with a man that has not promised her marriage. And we just got to stop living in chaos, because again, all this causes is trauma. Because someone said earlier, women honestly think that sex is emotional relationship. That's an emotional relationship. You like me because you had sex with me. And until a woman can get beyond that, which I don't think they ever will, they'll continue to make mistakes. And if we're taking responsibility for our life, we got to take responsibility for our life. We got to be accountable for whom we give our box to. So I'm always saying, look, grow up, be grown, sacrifice your good feeling, and figure out what it is you want out of life. You know, if you want to be purposeful, Ricky, and be underneath a man, and you and he are supposed to multiply, be fruitful and multiply, then that's what you need to do. That needs to be your concentration, not all this extra stuff that this world brings. I'm gonna go ahead and Hink, let you respond, and then I'll go back and read the super chat once you're done.
No, what I was saying, about to say was, I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Oh, I can. Go ahead.
Okay. Definitely, every man should always have to ask the woman tough questions. You need to interrogate this woman. You need to vet this woman. You need to know her history, everything about this woman, because men have way too much to lose. Way too much to lose. So you definitely need to be asking the tough questions. And if she's not about what you're trying to do and the way you move, and you don't like what you're hearing, again, you leave her at the restaurant and let some other sucker have her.
I agree with that. So listen, 7 Ann, thank you so much for your $19.99 super chat. It's in you, not on you. Example, soon to be wife legally made breakfast and put it in the microwave and had my dishes for lunch organized and my juices made before she drove 3 hours to Austin. That's what the scripture means. Okay. Thank you for that. You mean finds a wife. Okay. I agree with that. Thank you so much for your $19.99 super chat. Trigger Mike, thank you so much for your $20 super chat. And hello, how are you today? Salute to SB and the panel. Fathers need to be professional box blockers. Men will always try to score on their daughters. We need to teach them to be better goalies. I agree with that. But, there comes a time when a woman gets grown and she starts to feel herself. And, everybody knows that sex is good. And if you're exposed to it once, more than likely, you'll want it twice. So Thank you so much for that, Trigger Mike. Let me also do this one. Daryl Long, thank you so much for your $4.99 super chat. He said, SB, men in this space tell, I thought I did that already. Men in this space tell women their box is all they are good for. That's why women lead with sex these days. That you say what? I say again, women need to understand. They need to understand. It all depends on what they want, first of all. If you all about the money and you're chasing a bag and you're going to use your body to do so, then until you mature enough to know that that is not going to be longevity, you do what you do. But if a woman's goal is to be married and covered by a man, which I hope women would want to do, you would know that you need to preserve yourself and stop sacrificing yourself with different men, because your value goes way low, like Sherelle and Trill said earlier. You got $80,000 value, but you're selling it for $200. It's no good after a while. So women need to, in my opinion, we need to become a little bit more smarter and stop giving ourselves away. It's definitely not a wife quality, but if you want to be one, you need to figure out what that looks like and align yourself with being a wife. So, Clement, great. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat. What's up, SB? My guy, Ricky, eating groceries, Hink, Chill, Trill, and Mr. Boston Panel, dearly beloved. Thank you so much, Clement. All right, guys. So we only have that was good. But did anyone else have anything else they want to add? Because I promise y'all 2 hours, and Saturday 2 hours is enough. I think that this last issue we have is somewhat still up in the air to what's the best thing to do for a woman and a man. I think it all depends on what the woman or the man wants out of life. Like Daryl Long is saying that on some platforms, men are telling women, and of course I haven't been there, men are telling women that they need to, win with their box. So women are doing just that. You have the Instagrams where they're half naked all the time. Y'all see it on TikTok. They shaking this and shaking that. If there's what women want, then, you can't tell a woman what to do. At some point in time, though, they do wake up and they realize that this ain't getting them what they want, and then they want something else. So at that point, if you haven't given it all away, you do realize that, hey, I got to move a little different. But then that always comes to the point of that man who's now serious. What is he wanting? Do he want you at this point? Because you've already gave it away. But what do you say about that? You yourself are not going to be, you're an older man. I'm talking about these little younger ones that it always come into question to the woman when it's time to become a husband, or when it's time for that woman to become a wife. What have you been doing with yourself thus far? Woman, what have you been doing with yourself? What is acceptable, Hink? What is acceptable? Do you know?
Well, I'm not. Are you talking about saying that to the woman?
Yeah.
Asking the woman that question?
Well, when a man decides he's ready to be married and he's looking at a woman, I want to know from you, if they're listening to men or whomever saying it's okay to be free, sexually liberated or whatever, what is that man now looking for a wife? What is acceptable and what is not?
I'm gonna let the women know now. I'm not gonna say nothing to you unless you're my daughter or some kinfolk, because that's left for the elder women to talk to you about.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to the boys. I'm gonna talk to the young men or the young adults. That's who my message will be for. And I will definitely let them know, man. Have your plan, whatever it is, whatever you want, whatever your desires are. Have it on the spreadsheet, and you present it to her at the kitchen table, and you let it be known. If you got 10 standards and she can hit 7 of them, she's got a passing grade. She's got a damn chance for you to bless her with your last name. But if she get a 6 and below, she failed. Put out your goddamn house with a lifesaver. There's no need to be around it no more. I don't give a damn how good her sex is, how decent you think she could cook, how pretty he is, or cute or smile. The hell with that. If her mind is not right, if her heart is not in the right place, if she doesn't seem like she could be a nurture type woman that you may have babies with, there's no need being with her. If I'm a man and I want to have kids and she's talking about, yeah, I don't know, bye. Go. Get out of my house. Right then and there. That's the number one thing on my plan. If I'm a young man, is to make my future and to continue my legacy. And you're talking like you don't have babies? I'm good, baby. I'll see you later. Or you can stay around. I'm going to give you 20 minutes and I'm going to send you out the door with that lifesaver anyway. However you want to do it. But I don't see you as a wife. Not when I'm not like what I'm hearing. So men just got to let it be known what they're looking for. Ask the the hard, challenging, at times sarcastic type questions to get what you need to get the information that you need to know. I mean, put the spotlight on ladies if that's what needs to happen. Do not be afraid to hear the answers. Accept them. Another thing is, guys, don't ask for body count because you're not going to get the goddamn truth. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So let it be. She's not going to tell you the truth. Unless she can prove she's a virgin, she's not going to tell you the truth. So don't waste your time and don't let that be one of your 10.
Thanks, Hank.
Man, just man up. That's my big thing. Man up and be the man that you need to be. Don't sit down to pee.
Chantel, what do you think about that? If what would make a woman, if we're being so liberated, what would make a woman, or what would make a woman a wife if she's lived her life thus far that way? How can she, what would be good? What is too much?
Honestly, I may hate to be so pessimistic, but my best advice to her would be guide the young girls so they don't make your mistake. I mean, especially first of all, shout out to Hink for saying, he guides the men, older woman of the community guides the girl. And I think that's what we're lacking right now. We can have the conversation from a dang, I made my mistakes. And sometimes some of those mistakes, it's unrepairable. You can't do anything about it. To help the community, make sure the young girls don't make your same mistakes. Personally, when people are so concerned about my marital status, that's why I use my channel so young girls don't be 31 unmarried. So I just try to focus on younger girls. Like, yeah, what they say, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Like, unfortunately, ladies, you can't go reverse your body count. You can't go reverse your behavior, sleeping around, combativeness, all these things you can't reverse. What you can do is help young girls.
Very good. All right. Who wants? Sherelle. I can't hear you. Uh-oh. All right, Ricky, go ahead while Sherelle works on that.
Man, I'll put it, like I said, I understand the women aspect, but I'll put it on the men. I don't care what nobody say, bro. At the end of the day, you choosing that woman, bro. You know what I mean? If she look, and this is what if you understand, and this is my thing, men, you guys need to learn to move correct and move with honor, plain and simple, short and sweet, right? When you know you moving right, bro, and then somebody don't want to come along, it's an easy decision to make. It's easy. If I'm moving out here and I'm being a man in all things, I'm talking about all things, respect, admiration, letting other men know what's going on, letting you know what's going on, honoring a relationship, right? Being thorough. And I give you something that make 100% sense and you fight me on it, you're not for me. You're not for me. Plain and simple, short and sweet. And this, I'm gonna make a point, and I'm gonna leave this one alone, right? Most women, not all, because none of y'all are monolith, and never anyone on this panel, right? Always say when we get into it, and I know my boy Trill and he can attest to this because we seen it real time. When we bring up something, right, the first thing a woman say, well, men do it. Right? So, men, let's do the right thing. Let's be correct and see if they follow our lead. And if they don't, leave them. Leave them in hell. Don't give them nothing. Nothing. They say daddy government is there for them, let them. They say some other sucker gonna take care of them, let them. Leave them out there, bro. Leave them to the cold. They got the game figured out, then let them play it. Stop compromising yourself. But that will require you to be a man. That will require you to be something. Right? Y'all 50-50 because you can't handle it by yourself.
What I said.
Be a man. And if you don't know what that is, you need to grab somebody coattails and have them teach you the way of the Wu-Tang. But y'all out here, like, Box don't control nothing. It ain't this. But it's funny how, because there can't nobody take, it's funny how even though Box is this and that, but no man can control his penis. And that's why we at where we at now. Admit to yourself. Look, how many of y'all had that cold hard talk in the mirror when you was like, this is messed up with me? As a man, I'm not doing this right. I'm slacking on this. I'm lacking on this point. How many of y'all actually had that conversation? But otherwise, you more than likely, when it happened, she did this. I should have never messed with her. It's crazy to me how y'all want to say y'all men, but at the end of the day, Trill, what they say when it all fall apart, Hink, when it all break down, when it all go nasty, what's the first thing a nigga say? Excuse my language. I knew she wasn't shit.
Did you hear what I said?
It's called a proposal for a reason. I propose to you. She didn't come and get down on one knee. Better yet, she didn't walk up to you in the mall and say, hey, can I get your number? Y'all got to learn to be men, bro. I understand, bro. I understand. I was just like y'all, bro. But at some point, you got to take accountability. Y'all, I keep trying to tell y'all, we are mother's sons. I don't say that just for the public. I say that for me too. I was my mother's son. And when you're your mother's son, you can't be nobody's husband.
Mm. Ricky.
Can I ask Ricky a question?
Hey, let me say this real fast before she goes. Ladies, at least I gave your ass a goddamn lifesaver. He's sending you straight to hell. You don't stand a goddamn chance.
Go ahead, Chantel.
Ricky, personally, what were some of the steps? Because you said that you were your mother's son too, and you took the steps to become, qualified for somebody's husband. If you don't mind sharing, like, what were some of the steps you had to take to reprogram that thinking?
Bumping my head, paying for mistakes, realizing that a lot of times people not the problem. You got to have a talk with yourself. You can go pay a therapist, but more than likely y'all gonna be paying a female therapist. She ain't gonna tell you what's really wrong with you anyway. This is what kills me. Don't nobody know you better than you.
What would you say, like, what about the men who, as you said earlier, a lot of men aren't who they think they are. So we have a lot of men who think that they're actually masculine and, like, they're kings, but if you really was to break it down, they're balling for equality, or folding because lack of discipline. What would you say towards those men who are not self-aware to know that they're not the kind of men they think they are?
I would say they're liars. They're liars. Stop lying to yourself, because if that was the case, would you be getting the results you're getting?
Did you hear what I said?
Would you? It's like I said, and shout out to Jay. I don't know if Jay in here, right? Jay in here, right? But listen to the logic. Men in these spaces. I ain't gonna talk for the. I ain't gonna speak for the men. I'm talking about the men in these spaces. Oh, the girls always want Pookie Ray Rays, but y'all put a Pookie and Ray Ray below y'all. But they can get a woman and you can't. I'm asking a question. You a good dude. You got everything together, bro. Your personality on point. You go to the gym. You got a house, car, everything, bro. Y'all liars, bro. Y'all liars. All of y'all is some goddamn liars. I don't care what nobody say. I am what I am. I'm a broke guy. I ain't making no 405. That's not me. But my wife got a place to stay. She got a place where she can raise her grandchildren. She got a place where she can party. And that's what's wrong with us as men. You can't measure my success. I can't measure my success by your success. You don't know where I came from.
Dearly beloved,
But the truth of the matter is we all men. And if you stand as a man and you honorable, I'm going to rock with you as a man. But y'all don't even understand what honor is nowadays. Y'all the problem. Women are simply following suit. This is what it means when it says you will pay for the sins of your fathers. That's what we doing. Y'all looking at women like, oh, they doing this and all this. But that woman had a mama that got did dirty by a daddy. A daddy that wasn't responsible. Oh, it was the welfare state. Da 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 da. Fight for your family, nigga. Women are natural followers. I don't care what y'all say, they follow. And all of them sit up here and keep telling you, hey, if the right dude come along and he got everything I like and he on point, I'm going. Maybe you just ain't the right dude. Maybe you not him dunking. Take your L and move on to find the one that's right for you. Everybody got a lane. You Walmart thinking you can shop at Macy's. No, dude, you Walmart and it's cool. All y'all think y'all better than y'all are and you ain't. You just people. We all people, man. And everybody want to be loved. Everybody want to have somebody there for them when times go bad. But you think you better than everybody. And because you think you perfect, because you think you better, you feel you never have to work on yourself. You feel you never have to work on the problems, then the traumas that you have, but you can identify everybody else's problems. Whatever, man. Y'all don't listen anyway.
Ricky, you have thrown the mic out the window. You did more than dropped it. Thank you for that, Ricky. So listen, Sherelle, before we do that, y'all make sure y'all get the likes up. Make sure you give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the show. We're about done with the show. We got 2 more people. They're giving their last thoughts, and I want to go through these super chats, and we're going to get out of here. I appreciate them so much. Their perspectives has been outstanding. We have everybody don't think alike. I appreciate that so much. So, Sherelle, what do you have to add to this? Smiling. Go ahead.
I think that people should just I know that y'all tired of me saying it. Just stop having sex. I think sex, it just puts you in a different mind frame. It just clouds your judgment. Like, you having sex and you get caught up in this feeling. Like, you're supposed to be attached to a man when you have sex with him. You're supposed, all of that stuff that goes on, it's supposed to feel that way. Like, so stop doing it with any and everybody. That's just some real personal shit. So if you don't know if you don't feel like you can keep a relationship or keep a man around, or you don't have any other value but your sex, stop having sex. Find some value. Work on yourself. Go to therapy. Deal with yourself, like he's saying. Like, fix it. If you need a break, learn how to be by yourself, because a lot of people are so scared of being by themselves because they hate themselves. And the mere thought of being with them and dealing with their own demons, they in everybody's bed trying to screw it away, trying to get a good feeling to get rid of how they really feel. Sometimes you need to just take a break, eat that up, heal on up. And like Chantel says, sometimes if it's too late for you, make sure you telling the people that's younger than you a different way, because that's what should make you feel better. I know sometimes we get 35 and we wish we would have knew this at 25. So go find you 25-year-olds and put them on game. Go find you 18-year-olds and put them on game and let them know what you would have known. Because I tell all my nieces, if you ain't ready to be a mother and a wife, don't even have sex. It ain't worth it. It's overrated. Because they can lie to you all they want to, you're gonna fall. And you have sex with that man, it's gonna put you in a different world. So you better make sure you're ready for it. You can't sugarcoat nothing with them. Because if you give them any reason to doubt, they're gonna go looking for it. So make better decisions. It's always better to just stop making. Don't think that when you find out you're wrong, stop being wrong.
Sherelle, hold on one second. Chantel, thank you so much for being here. I got a message that you need to go. Is that correct?
Oh
Or
no,
are
I
you
can
okay?
wait until you end the show. I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead,
Okay.
Sherelle.
Oh no,
Were you
I was
done?
just saying, like,
Oh, okay.
if you're wrong, whenever you find that you're going the wrong way, trust me, when you turn around, you may never hit the finish line. Oh well. Go back. Don't keep going the wrong way. Just don't
I
keep
agree
going the
with
wrong
that.
way. Sometimes you just really need to stop because people really don't have an understanding. People really don't know. Your family you may have never seen a positive marriage. You may not understand what marriage is. You may not understand the value of family. You may come from a toxic line of toxic. So you sometimes just gotta move around, isolate yourself. Don't be afraid to be alone. Cause sometimes just taking a year alone could have a balance than going through a year smashing everybody that makes you feel good. So
I agree with you. Chasing that feel good feeling is nothing but adding to your trauma. So you're exactly right for that. And I do agree that women do that because we want to feel good. So actually, there needs to be some counseling that needs to go on. So I definitely agree with you. So Trio, go ahead and take us out with your last thought on the situation as far as whatever it is you want to add, because we've gone through a lot today. So however you want to end it.
Yeah, I think, you know, my message to the man, man, is going to be the same as it always is, man. The answers to a lot of the issues that we run into is very simple. And we all know 'em. Nobody up here said anything that people watching do not know, especially from a male perspective. It's discipline. You got to value yourself. And a lot of us don't value ourselves. And that's why we're so willing to just give out peen to all type of different women, even women that we know shouldn't even be in the same room with us, let alone bed with us. But we just, it's late night, 3 o'clock. I just feel like, I'm just, and it's those type of situations that get you in child support situations. Most people on child support were not married to get there. They were out making reckless decisions. I've seen it up close to where, you know, even homies are where we'd be in the club. He'd be, hey, bro, I pulled up. I'm looking at the girl like, yeah. But he'll go home and hit that. And more times than not, it'll be raw. But then with that same woman pop up pregnant 3 months later, now you feeling like, you know, it's she trapping him. She did this, she did that. No, a lot of those issues can be avoided if you just move with discipline. You know that woman is not on your level. And this is why what I mean by value yourself. There are levels, there are tiers. Stay on yours. Stop looking down when you ain't got nothing on your tears that's flowing right now. Sometimes you need to just sit your ass down. That doesn't mean go to a lower tier, pick somebody up, and then try to treat them as if they're not. So when these type of situations happen, now you asked out. So it's discipline, and also learning how to communicate with your woman. I'm talking about once you get into the relationship, it's not just about the bag. A lot of these men on these platforms, go get the bag, go get the bag, go get the bag, go get the bag. And you have zero connection with your woman from an intimacy level, zero connection from a emotional standpoint. You don't even know how women operate. You just think, okay, just because I'm successful, she just supposed to fall in line with whatever it is that I want to do. You will be divorced, paying alimony, and on child support. Connect with your woman, learn your woman, figure her out, and that's going to make sure that the relationship is long standing. In terms of women, sex aside, man, it ain't even about the sex. It's about the accessibility. Like if you ask most women, hey, what are you saving for your husband in comparison to the men that you just dating and messing with? A lot of them will struggle to answer that. Why? Because they're giving up 99% of the benefits to a man that won't even commit to them, let alone marry them. This is a man that she's just interested in. He ain't even claiming you as his girl. He ain't posting you on social medias, no nothing. And you are always available. Access is the issue. Because again, sex happens, whatever. We can sit up here and say abstinence and things of that nature. And I agree for the most part. But again, that's speaking in ideals. Like I said earlier, I don't live in ideals. But the difference is the moderation, the frequency. It's literally men. I'm sure every man watching this and every man on this panel when they was active out here, there are women that give us full access to them. We could hit her at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever. Like you can have a girl and she still be willing to pull up, like just full access. And not only with the sex, but just time. She willing to pull up and bring you food. You can come stay with her, live on her couch, drive her car, all time. I mean, full access. And we ain't even got to do so much as commit. That is the issue. So it's nothing wrong with again, have sex here, there, whatever. But the issue is the access. If I feel like I can come to you whenever and get the sex from you whenever, every day, whatever, no commitment, no nothing, your value goes down. But if sex happens, whatever the case may be, because again, things happen. but you are moving in moderation in terms of what my access to you is, then you'll maintain your value. But a lot of women don't understand that because they like the guy. They feel like, oh, I'm just going to head first. Everything is available. Whatever you want from me, baby, I got you. I'm coming by cooking. Every time I come over your crib, I'm cleaning up. I'm making up the bed, all type of shit. And then wonder why the man is dragging his feet to marry you. I ask again, what are you saving for marriage? Because as a man, what we're saving for marriage is taking care of your ass completely. You'll rarely find a man who's not either engaged to a woman or married to her that's willing to pay every bill in her house, that's willing to, you know what I'm saying, protect her from any and everything she called, drop of a dime, I'm there, I'm doing all of that. That's what men save for marriage, taking care of you completely. But if you ask a woman, what do you save for marriage? She'll struggle to answer it. And that is the issue of 99% of their problems. Accessibility, moderation. Learn those two words, move accordingly, value yourself, and then you won't run into most of the issues that you run into. But again, I'm not telling y'all nothing y'all don't already know. It's a discipline thing. You're going to either be disciplined or you're going to be a victim. Simple and plain.
So, okay, guys, listen, that's Trill from the Krew season. You'll get that all the time. So make sure you go over there and subscribe. Subscribe to the Krew season. Now, we're going to end this show really soon. So what I want to do right now is everyone on the panel, go ahead and shout out your channel. And then we're going to do these super chats. And also the moderators, please add their channels into the comment section, if you would, please. And we're going to have a good rest of the day. Thank y'all. So go ahead, Chantel.
Well, I'm Chantel Simone. Use my channel to share, be as transparent as possible by sharing my mistakes, things I wish I knew when I was younger, and in hopes that young girls don't make them. So we can hopefully start seeing a better in the Black community, more two-parent, more traditional nuclear families in the Black community.
Very good. Go ahead, Hink.
Well, you could definitely tap in with Hink, man, at Hink's in the basement. Definitely check in with me on YouTube and or hit me on my my IG at Hink75 or at the basement with Hink. Either way, you can contact me that way and tap in and check out my channel that way.
Thank you. Sherelle.
You're muted. You're muted.
Go ahead, Ricky.
Hey, what's good, everybody? I'm here on YouTube. Jack, you can do a search for Ricky Williams, #TWT. I'm on YouTube. Instagram at R_dubs. We're gonna get back rolling. I took a bit of a hiatus. Hi, haters. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna relaunch the channel and come back with some stuff. If you haven't subscribed, come subscribe. I got some new stuff coming for y'all. But as usual, take care of yourselves and y'all family, man. Everything else will take care of itself.
All right, Sherelle. All right, we're gonna add Sherelle's channel into the chat. So go ahead, Trill, shout yourself out again, and then we're gonna be done with that and do these super chats, and we out of here.
Krew season everywhere, man. That's Krew season with a K. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, man. Just Google us, man. We're gonna pop up somewhere. Make sure y'all support, man. SB, it's love. Appreciate the opportunity. Fellas on the panel, ladies on the panel, you already know it's love, man. Thank y'all for having me. Hell of a conversation, man. It's gonna have a lot of replay value. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And y'all know who I am. I'm Unsolicited Security Boss. Y'all just put in Security Boss here, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. You'll find me. All right, so here we go. AL, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. He says, fellas only get married if she's a Ford, Walton, Kennedy, Rothschild. That's the only way it makes sense right now, right? Okay, yeah, hopefully we can find one. All right, Dr. Steele, thank you so much for your $20 super chat. He says, this comes down to one thing, intention. Are you dating with intention? How do you carry yourself? What is your purpose of dating this person? Are you looking for marriage? Looking to be married? How do you prepare for marriage? Thank you so much, Dr. Steele. And I think we had a couple more. Let's see.
Yeah, there's another one up there.
You see it? Okay. Oh, let's see. Uh-oh, there it go. Chicago Rilla. Hey, Chicago Rilla, how are you? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for your $20 super chat. He says, when you are your mother's son, you can't be anybody's husband. Slick Rick, the ruler, bars. I like that too. Thank you so much for your $20 super chat. That was really good, Ricky. Very good. All right. So was that it? Here we go, Mr. Milner. Mr. Milner, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for your $10 super chat. And he says, great panel and topic. You are doing God's work. Well, thank you. Thank you. And thank y'all so much for being here. All right, guys, if I could ask for y'all just to do one thing, make sure that you're in the live now, or you actually in the comment section, make sure you have hit the like button. Let's get those likes up before you all leave out. If you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that, and all these other channels that we have present here on this panel. We would appreciate it. But if nothing else needs to be said, y'all have a good rest of the weekend. I appreciate y'all so much. It's been an outstanding Saturday, as always. Again, I'll see you on Monday, 7 o'clock, me and Black Men Unfiltered here at, what am I going to call myself right now? SB Nation. Thank y'all so much for being here, and y'all have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.